Hi friends, it's Mo here. Welcome. In this video, I'll be talking about my move to Korea. So I didn't just move to Korea, I arrived here on a Fulbright. So that's a joint invitation from the US and Korean president. Yes, that still shocks me when I say it out loud. So I'm here as a US presidential STEM scholar awardee, which is very prestigious. My kids, my research, my mics, my spices, my journal, everything came with me. But beyond the logistics, this move was about saying yes to a year that demanded courage and curiosity. People ask me why Korea, and my question is, why not Korea? The truth is really, I wanted a year that wasn't just only productive, but deeply formational. So as you know, I've been in academia for the past 7 years now. I recently got tenured, and I just needed a break. I didn't want to leave academia. I needed a sabbatical. But sabbaticals can only be as structured as you put into them, and without having a structure in place, I just thought the Fulbright was going to be great. Something prestigious, but also something that would help me with my research and the cultural exploration. And I get to do all of that while on the Fulbright. Maybe I should do a separate video on how you can get a Fulbright too for like scholars as well. So I wanted a year that lets me sit with questions, a year to study, to collaborate, and make room for the version of myself I've been too busy to meet. You know, being a wife, being a mom, now a mom of two. Wearing so many hats, it felt like it was time to get back in touch with me. So when I say I didn't come here randomly, believe it. I came here intentionally, prayerfully, gratefully, and backed by a lot of my community, friends, and families, and I don't take that for granted. And I also came here with the expectation that Korea would reshape me, which is why I'm doing this video, because I want to be able to look back to this video after I'm done to hopefully see again in my experience. The first thing you people want to hear about is reality versus expectation. So my imagined Korea versus the lived Korea. So most people don't know this, but 2020, I actually applied for a visa to come to Korea on a C3 visa, which is a tourist visa. And I was supposed to come here with my Korean friend in Mojong and her boyfriend, and then with my husband. So 4 of us. We made the plans in December of 2019 to come to Korea July of 2020. You know what happened, right? So that plan was crushed, and that was 5 years ago. A lot happened in that 5 years. Got tenured, had 2 kids, and so let's just say that my version of Korea then and what I wanted to be totally different. When I wanted to come to Korea, I was supposed to come relive my fever dream, but now I'm here with 2 kids and a mom, totally different responsibility. So here's the Korea I imagined: efficient systems, beautiful contradictions, wonderful people, food that tastes like care, a city that moves quickly but thinks deeply. But even with all of that preparation, and trust me, I have been prepared. I started engaging in Korean culture since 2011. I was one of the OGs before IG. Then you couldn't even talk to anybody about Korea, so they looked at you like you were weird. But now everybody's talking about Korea. Like, where were you? Where were you when I was so lonely? And shout out to my Korean friends who I met in Austin, in Oklahoma. They've been my compass to Korea before I even got here. So I've been well prepared, the reality of it. So it wasn't like the K-drama, overtly fantasized Korea. I knew what to expect to a degree. Now, even with all the preparation, Korea has its own way of saying, sit down, let me show you the full picture, which is what I want to encourage anybody moving to a new country. It's good to have an expectation, but your flexibility will go a long way in making you enjoy the place, because nothing really beats the reality. So what has surprised me the most? The trash. Oh, God. PhD level, the recycling system. So I've lived in 2 districts that I've gotten here. I lived in Gangnam-gu, and then I currently live in Mapogu. And they have different colors for their trash bags. So here in Korea, unlike in Oklahoma where I lived, we're not savages, we recycle in Oklahoma, but you just put up that in a box, forget about recycling trash, and then they come pick the trash on a certain day, and they pick your regular trash on a separate day. But not in Korea, guys. In Korea, you have food trash, and it goes in a little, usually a liter, like a 1 liter or 2 liter or 5 liter bin, and you tie that separately. Now, for food, you have to also know what your district has different rules. For example, in Mapogo, where I currently live, onion skins. I have a PhD level in this. I'm doubling. I have 3 PhDs now, 2 in pharmacy and then 1 in trash, career trash. Your onion skin, like the outer layer of the onions, goes in a regular trash. Your eggshells go in a regular trash, but every other food stuff goes in the food trash. Now, when it comes to recycling, the covers of your plastic bottles, they're thrown away separately. Batteries are thrown away separately. In the US, when I recycled, not everything was recycled. We had to read the instructions to see the science. But here in Korea, it's totally different. So let's say, for example, I bought a pack of chocolates. The bag it comes in, like the wrapper, you have to put in the recycling trash. It didn't make sense to me, but I have had to learn as I, moved along the way. And then paper was also something you had to put separately. And let me just say that because of just how stressful trash is here. Now, I'm not even talking about bulk trash. So let's say, for example, I went to dispose of a microwave. What I did in Oklahoma then, if it fits into your bin, you throw it in your bin. And we had these large bins. But now in Korea, you had to go to a separate office. They'll ask about the dimensions. I'm not kidding, guys. You gotta look this up. They'll ask about the dimensions of your trash, like the weight, and then you pay for it beforehand. You get a special sticker. You stick it on it and you put it outside. So let's just say being here has really helped me recalibrate my relationship with consumerism. When I think about when I have to move back and the things I have to trash or no, if I'm not able to give away, I'm like, do I need this? No. Is there space for it? No. So no. So that's one thing, recycling system, trash system. And there are no trash cans everywhere. You have to go with your trash. And imagine having kids. I have 2 kids, a 6-year-old and a 1-year-old. Happy birthday to my son, by the way. Today's his birthday. And they make messes everywhere. So you have to carry your trash with you because they don't have trash cans everywhere. The second thing is elevators. Elevators that are either far away or carrying the whole city. Which I'll talk about in a bit. Cafes with kid-free zones, that will humble you. Public bathrooms that are extremely thoughtful. When I mean extremely thoughtful, you're talking about bidets that can sing or quell the smell. You can, press a button and it can mask your tooth. But sidewalks and curbs that double as survival training. I mean, these contradictions really make me rethink about how really accessible Korea is. So I have a child who's in a stroller, and oftentimes finding elevators in the subway feels like finding Dory and Nemo and Waldo at the same time. And at least we have the luxury of folding our stroller and carrying the baby, which is so hard to do now because he's a big boy now. But imagine people in wheelchair, they don't have that luxury. So I feel like that's something Korea needs to work on. Oh, delivery system, so fast it feels illegal. Like, forget about Amazon. What is Amazon Prime? That's like, let me just say Korea makes the US feels like a third world country. Like, US needs to learn about efficiency of technology here. You order from Coupang, it's there the next day. And get this, when you order frozen stuff, like even eggs, they put it in special bags. Do you guys know that? They put it in front of your bag. You order stuff from Walmart. If you come there 2 days later, 3 days, it's right there in front of you, your ice cream melts away. But not in Korea. They put them in ice bags and they leave it outside. Very, very demure, very mindful. There's a rhythm of life that is intentional here at the macro level. I think I made a separate video where the concept of respect hits differently here. As someone who is a cultural enthusiast, I think about how I have to learn as I go. So in Nigeria, where I'm from, respect is horizontal. The way we talk, the way we posture to anyone older than us, it's in everything you do. In the US, it's vertical. In the US, it's horizontal. In Nigeria, it's vertical. So in the US, there's that perception of equality. Everybody's equal. But in Korea, here, it's relational. So it's not weird for you to meet someone for the first time. You want to determine their age because that determines how you talk to them. But when in doubt, just go for the highest level on honorific. It will not disappoint you. And then if they now later determine your hierarchy, they might just say, losing your water around me, it's okay. You don't have to use honorifics for me. I feel safe here. As a girly, as a black lady, I feel safe here. But there's also that sense of not feeling safe psychologically. There's a lot of expectations here in the groups you join. I started playing pickleball, and it wasn't just enough for me to come anytime. I had to be there when they started, and you couldn't leave until everybody left. So that for me was stressful. So Korea is both gentle and demanding. There's that good, perfect blend of modern and traditional. It's tightly structured, but yet widely surprising. It's a country full of beautiful contradictions. And I'm learning to love everyone. I love how they take food seriously here. One of the things that surprised me, in the US, I felt like you just ate anyhow. And we don't take food. Korea, no. What you put in your stomach mattered. I remember being hungry one time and I told my friend, we're just going to stop at 7-Eleven or Shiyu to like get something. She's like, no, let's have dinner first. And after dinner, you shouldn't have any dessert because you should have a good meal. And I'm like, wow, thank you for that reminder. So let's talk about language and community. So I came in with intermediate level of Korean. Not tourist level, not fluent, but enough to navigate daily life. Pray silently at the cashier and survive conversations with Ajoma. And I'm thankful for that. I didn't know that years of just casually, seriously learning Korean will come in handy. So meaning I can introduce myself, I can understand context. And one thing I love about Koreans, like the moment I say, they're already even in awe. I'm like, calm down, there's more. I got more for you. I can say more than that, okay? I can hold everyday conversations. I use Neva. It felt very familiar. So while in the US, when I say Korean, when I say Hangul, I get very excited, like puppy level excitement, like, ooh, that's Hangul. But here in Korea, like seeing everything in Korean, it felt like, oh my gosh, Christmas came through for me every day. I love it. It felt very natural being here. I didn't have to make a lot of adjustments. And when people speak quickly sometimes or switch dialect or whisper, that's when I feel like I need to do a system reboot. And I have to tell myself, okay, relax. Even if you don't know the whole thing, you can pick up some of the things. And even as Nigerian-born marriage, you say, oh, can you please speak again? And that really helps. Now, even with my head knowledge about Korea and the way my friends have built me up in years, I knew community building would build the real work. And I've done that in the US. I'm big on communities. I always say that, as someone who hosts this podcast. So I came here with 2 kids. My daughter had to go to school here, which I think I should do a separate video on schooling. We built a system that has worked for us. So my kids' school, we got a church. My mom's here as well. I have colleagues. I have Fulbright colleagues and work colleagues. And my friends who were already here. Those are parts of my community. So my son, we're trying to throw him a Tochapchi, which is like a first-year birthday. And in Korea here, they call it a second wedding. Just putting the list together without thinking too deep, we had 30 people. Don't ask me how I already know more. And this is just not even thinking deep. Some of my friends don't even know I'm in Korea here because I'm here to reach out to them. This is just 30 people, like, so I'm very, very thankful to that. And also strangers God has put in my orbit. But Korea rewards efforts. Like I said, one full Korean statement and people brighten. Say 2, they compliment you like you've been studying for 10 years. So if you're coming here, it would be nice to know some words in Korean. But if you don't worry. There's a lot of AI apps right now. You can just, even like for example, Papago by Neva, you can scan documents and it can give you the English or whatever transitions you want to use. And in public spaces, I can say that they have both the English and Korean interpretations, like the signs, you can read that. One thing I should also talk about is what I want this year to teach me. I want this year to stretch parts of me that, I feel like I have lately dormant, for many years. I want to stretch parts of me that success never touches. So like my patience, cultural humility, adaptability, being able to listen without assuming. Because for Korean, because of the way the syntax is, the verb is at the very end. So it's subject, object, and verb. So you got to listen to the very end to hear what is being expected of you. It's very context heavy. English you can get by because the verb is in the smack dab in the middle, but Korean is at the very end. I also want to, be still, even in a fast city, how to use space intentionally, because Korean apartments teach you quick. I live in a 2-bed, 1-bath, which is very small. The size of my house, humbly speaking, is like my bathroom and a little bit of my closet. That's where I currently live, but I love that space, and it's taught me a lot about just being efficient. Korea will teach you how to be very efficient with space. I'm also wanting to appreciate food, not just as a nutrition, but as a philosophy. So if you're new here, I've lost more than 100 pounds in the past 3 years. So my weight journey has been transformed in the past 3 years, and I've had a renewed relationship with food. So Korea is already reshaping my relationship with parenting, with rest, with my body, with how I nourish my body, with community and with joy. Now let's move to the part. Challenges, let's be real. I was and I'm still nervous about feeling isolated, missing my people, making cultural mistakes, getting lost twice, same bus, opposite route, navigating systems that assume you have a Korean number, like Korean ID. But my plan is, have a routine, practice joy and purpose, asking for help, leaning into God, leaning into community, and giving myself permission to be new again. What am I really looking forward to? I'm excited for eating food that tastes like story and science, watching my kids really enjoy this, because I want this to be net positive for them. Morning markets, pickleball games, hiking culture, traveling around Korea and exploring every bit of it, making friends slowly and deeply. It's very hard for you to make friends with Koreans. But that said, once you find a friend in them, it's a forever friendship. So don't give up. And I'm learning that as I go. So my one big goal is I want to document this journey. And I want to leave here saying Korea didn't just change my environment, it changed me. So if you want to follow this journey, subscribe, comment, share, and tell me what parts of my Korean life you want me to explore. Come travel with me. Let's learn together. Let's grow together. Bye.